Hey, and welcome back to PEP. Today we're going to explore the importance of water and hydration as it pertains to your life. You know, other than air, water is the most important element known to man. In fact, it's so important that when NASA goes into outer space looking for extraterrestrial life, it's the #1 criteria that they look for. So have a tall, cool glass of water while you watch the following video, and don't forget to take the validation quiz below when you're done.
All right. Water and hydration. In my opinion, if you ask me out of the whole 24-part PEP series, what was the #1 most important component, it would be this right here. In my opinion, there's absolutely positively nothing more important than drinking pure, clean, alkaline water for your health. And that's it. If a coaching client comes to me and says, give me one tidbit, one thing that'll change my health more than anything, it's drinking water. It's my belief that dehydration is the leading cause and the underlying problem when it comes to obesity, high blood pressure, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, all these different chronic illnesses we have. I think that you will find that every single person that's suffering from one of those maladies is dehydrated. The earth, 70% covered by water. And we are supposed to be 70% water coincidentally as well. So when you think about the importance of water, I mean, every single aspect of life relies on water in some form or fashion. When NASA goes into outer space looking for extraterrestrial life, water in some form or fashion is their #1 criteria when they look for life. If you have houseplants or a garden or grass even at home, our irrigation system broke the last couple weeks and our grass is just burning up and drying up. Same thing happens to the human body if we're not hydrating and watering ourselves properly. How much water do you drink? And can you honestly say with accuracy how much water you drink? Do you track your water? What I do is I stack these empty bottles either on my desk or on the counter at home, and at the end of the day I can say, wow, I have 4 empty liters of water here. Stillman's got a unique method for tracking his water. You want to show him what you do?
What I do is I do the rubber band trick because it's visual. All right? So I always put them all of them at the top, and I start my day with 5. Now this is 32 ounces, so I drink 5 times 32 every day. It's a challenge, especially on the weekends because we're not as structured. And then once I finish it and when I go to refill it, that's the strategy I use. When I go and I'm refilling it, then I move the rubber band. I don't do it any other time because you go back and forth. Did I move it or did I not move it? Now I know I'm going down. So now I know, okay, I've completed 2 jugs. And this is my 3rd I'm on. And then I just keep moving them down. Now the next day, I move them up. That's how I do it.
Great system, Stillman. Thank you for sharing. So how much water should you drink? It's estimated that 90% of the American population is walking around dehydrated. One of my good friends does dehydration or detoxification therapies, and she actually has a machine that measures your body's hydration, and she concurred with me. 90% of the people that walk through her door are all dehydrated. So how much should you drink? Well, the rule of thumb is that you want to take your body weight and cut it in half and drink a minimum of that in ounces. So a 150-pound person would drink 75 ounces of water a day. My rule of thumb and what I like to live by is I drink 1 liter per 50 pounds of body weight. So a 150-pound person would drink 3 liters of water in a day. Now, if you're super active and you're running a lot and it's really hot outside and you're sweating a lot, you might need to bump that up. Water is just so important for the way our body operates and detoxifies. I want you to imagine a toilet for a moment. I mean, toilet is a waste disposal machine, right? And it relies on a couple things: water, hydraulic pressure, gravity, and then the size of the pipe. And there's a balance between those components. Now, if you took half the water out of the tank that's waiting to flush, and you try to flush, you're going to lose flushing power. If you lower it even more, all of a sudden that hydraulic pressure and gravity is not going to work in synchronicity, and you're going to have a buildup of waste in the bowl, and pretty soon it's going to overflow, and you're going to have to call a Roto-Rooter or get a plunger or something. Now, the body is much more complex than a toilet, of course. I mean, we're a system of tubes, and we constantly are detoxifying. Every one of the methods of detoxification in the body relies on water. We detoxify through our urine, through our bowels, through our breath, through our sweat. All of it relies on water. So I came up with a nice little rhyme to help you remember the importance of hydration as it applies to detoxification. Drink, sweat, breathe, and pee. This will make you toxin-free. When we have toxic buildup in the body, what happens is inflammation occurs. We have a lymphatic system, which is essentially our septic system, our sewer system. This lymphatic system has 6 times more fluid than blood. It's 94% water, and it also contains the highest concentration of white blood cells, which are our defense cells, in our body. So this lymphatic system essentially connects every organ and all of our cells all over the body, and it relies on water, motion, and gravity to detoxify. Now, the largest concentration of lymph nodes, anybody want to guess where that would be? Armpit, right here. Now, most of us Americans wear deodorant, antiperspirant on a daily basis, and thank God, to be honest with you. I'm not telling you to go totally bohemian and not wear deodorant. It could be offensive in the workplace, etc., to your coworkers. But what we're doing is we're compounding a problem. We already don't sweat enough because we're in air-conditioned environments. Most of us are dehydrated, so we don't have the fluids in our body to sweat. Most of us aren't active enough to generate that sweat, and then we compound that by sealing in all these toxins with deodorant. So what's the next closest soft tissue to that lymph node? It's the breast. Just hypothetically, one day, what if they finally figured out and discovered that the leading cause of breast cancer was dehydration, lack of movement and activity, and the use of deodorant? Let's be clear, I'm not telling you to not wear deodorant. What I do is, when I exercise or when I go in the sauna or when I take a walk, I will scrub that off and I will make sure I generate a pretty heavy sweat once or twice throughout the day to flush those toxins. And I can tell when I'm toxic. If I'm off my regimen a little bit and maybe have a glass of wine or a beer or something, and the next day I can smell it coming out of me. 80–90% of the time I'm clean, but you can really tell the toxic effects when you're cleansing like that. Wake up and drink water. This is a ritual that I follow every single day. The first meal of the day is called breakfast. You know why?
You break a fast.
Yeah, you're breaking the fast because you don't eat in your sleep. Well, guess what you also don't do in your sleep? You don't drink. So how often do you wake up in the morning and your mouth's all dry and chalky and you go to brush your teeth and you look in the mirror and your tongue's all white? Back in the day when you go to the doctor, one of the first things he'd do is he'd pull your tongue out, put the tongue depressor in, he'd look at your tongue, and you know what he was looking for? To see if you were hydrated. If your tongue's all white and chalky and dry, that's toxicity coming out in your breath. That's toxicity escaping, through your mouth. It's not able to get out in your breath in that water vapor. So the first thing I do every day is I start my day off with a nice tall glass of water. Before I hit the shower, before I do anything, I'll guzzle down some water. And it also helps to curb your appetite throughout the day so you're not so ravenously hungry when you go to eat breakfast. There's a hunger mechanism and a thirst mechanism in our body, and as we age, our mind starts to confuse the two. So lots of times when we're hungry, we're actually thirsty. Municipal tap water. Maybe good for watering the lawn, showering, doing laundry, things like that, but it does not have a place in the body. There's a lot of problems with municipal tap water, depending on where you're at, but almost all tap water in this country is treated with chlorine. They have to put the chlorine in the water to what? To kill the bad bacteria so we don't get really sick, right? The problem is that chlorine doesn't discriminate. So as we've said previously in the program, we have billions and trillions of beneficial bacteria and flora in our digestive system. And if we're guzzling that chlorinated water, essentially pool water, we're killing, it's killing the bad bacteria in water, but it's also killing a lot of that good bacteria, the probiotics in our digestive system. If I were to drink a bottle this big full of tap water, I would absolutely positively have heartburn within an hour. My body is so clean and tuned into good water that it reacts like that to chlorine. So whenever I see one of these Pepto ads or one of these commercials for heartburn, I'm thinking, okay, if they're drinking soda, that's a definite cause, but if they're drinking even tap water, that's a problem. So I have a little rhyme to help you remember not to drink tap water. It's never drink the crap from the tap. And we're going to do a little test on some water up here in a second. There's also a lot of chemicals in tap water that I can't test for, but they've actually found, we have somewhat of an infertility problem in our country sometimes. They've tested tap water. They've found pretty high levels of like birth control pills and other pharmaceuticals that are going through our bodies in the water supply that are not being, filtered or cycled out. And then we're, essentially, you're trying to get pregnant, but you're drinking tap water, you're drinking a little bit of birth control maybe. So think about all the junk, all the stuff that could be in that tap water. 10 benefits of drinking water. Don't medicate, hydrate first. And the first benefit is it increases your energy and relieves fatigue and helps us think with more clarity and focus. Our brain is predominantly fatty tissue and water. It's in a big saline water bath up in our head. If we're dehydrated, our brain can't fire and communicate and send messages properly, and we lose focus and clarity. It also promotes weight loss. It helps to curb the appetite. If you're going through a weight loss program and you're burning fat and losing weight, it's essential that you're hydrated because that fat stores toxins, and when you burn the fat, it releases the toxins in the body. You need to flush them out and cleanse yourself. Improves your skin complexion. The best anti-aging formula in the world is water. When our skin is hydrated from the inside out, it glows. We have less blemishes. It's just powerful what water can do for your complexion. Helps you maintain regularity. It aids in digestion. Once again, that elimination in the colon's job is to recycle water. And if the colon doesn't have water to recycle or extract, it can't move that waste. So if you're if you have constipation, chances are you have dehydration. So start there. Boost your immune system. Like we said, lymphatic system, 94% water. That's where most of our white blood cells are. If you're dehydrated, that system starts to collapse. Imagine a balloon as it loses air. It collapses. It doesn't flow as well. It's not, it's not strong. So it definitely affects our immune system. Natural headache remedy. The warning signs we did last week, we were talking about 90% of headaches you can solve with a little bit of hydration and breathing exercises as well to get that nourishment going back to the brain. Prevents cramps and sprains. Stillman, would you concur that probably one of the leading causes of cramps and strains and injuries when you're exercising would also be dehydration?
Yes.
It puts you in a good mood. When your body is functioning at its best, you're able to perform better, and naturally you're going to feel better. Saves money. Even a high quality water like a Fiji water, it's like $1.79 a bottle, true, but it's still cheaper than that Starbucks latte that's like $4, right? This is going to do you good. This is going to alkalize your body, and it's not going to have the harmful side effects.